Hello and welcome back to the second edition of the Coaches Show. I'm Nick Merrick, joined alongside head coach Al Rooney of the Texas Junior Brahmas. Coach, how are you doing? Two big wins over the weekend against Dallas Junior Stars. You got to be pleased.
Yeah, real pleased. The guys did an outstanding job in all three zones, which as a coach is all you can really ask for. Got the shutout the first night. Q was in net for us and made some big saves, but we jumped on them early, controlled the game. They never really got a foothold in the game, and then the next night, it showed with the shots on goal. We dominated them. They, to their credit though, they were opportunistic, got a couple of goals, forced us into OT, and we came out on top for a change in OT.
Let's talk a little bit about that Friday game before we get to the home game on Saturday. Team was completely different, it seemed like, after relatively healthy roster. You mentioned you were excited to see what it's going to be like for pretty much the first time since training camp. And discipline was definitely a big strong suit of that team. Just 2 penalties in that game, unlike we've seen in the past. Was that something that you kind of mentioned to your team that, was one of the positive points?
Yeah, and the best part about it is it's becoming less and less of a focus because it's starting to take care of itself. We were really hammering ourselves with a lack of discipline early. The penalties against have really gone down for us, which has allowed us to have a little bit more flow in the game, to flow through our lines a little bit better. And yeah, it was a great job by the guys Friday night. 2 penalties, as you mentioned, and both were killed off, real well. The 2 weeks that we got back, as we mentioned on last show, we were really able to tie some things together, so that allowed us to come out and have a fairly structured 2 games this past weekend.
Well, we know the penalty kill has even been one of the better ones in the NE3HL, but it's always better when there's no penalties to worry about. Focusing now on the defense and goaltending of this weekend, much improved. You saw that, you mentioned the flow is a lot better throughout the weekend. What do you just feel of the team's overall play?
I think we're starting to bring up the word again, be a little bit more structured. Expectations are starting to positionally we're a little bit better. We're starting to depend and rely on one another a little bit more. But at the same time, you have to prove it each and every game. So we'll have to, do it again against the same opponent this weekend. But those 2 weeks of practice with the new faces and getting healthy again allowed us to structure ourselves a little bit better and get a little bit more in tune with one another, and it showed. But we have to do it all over again.
And then obviously a team's best friend's always the hat trick, and John Severson gets the second of the season for the Brahmas. What was that like from a team standpoint, from you as a coach, seeing that you finally able to get the overtime going the right way?
Yeah, we're real pleased with his performance. Obviously, he stepped in. He had been with the NA team and dropped down. I believe he's going to be getting called up this coming weekend because of the fantastic job he did. He had an opportunity to come and get ice time at the NA3 level. Did so willingly. Kurt Thiel has done the same thing, and they were difference makers, pure and simple. So he sees an opportunity, did a great job with it, and he fit right in with the guys. And to be honest with you, our roster is such that we have a great bunch of guys that welcomed him with open arms. We got him on the same page, both myself as well as his line mates and teammates, and he didn't even have his own sticks. I don't know if you noticed, he hit about 3 or 4 posts as well this weekend, but he was using Connor Brady's sticks because when the NA team went on the road trip, they mistakenly took his sticks as well.
Whoops.
So he was scrambling to find some sticks, so we were all joking if he would have had his own sticks, he might have had 6 goals this weekend.
I guess they say it's the Indian, not the arrow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And now, this weekend against the Dallas Junior Stars again, another road trip, if you can even call that, basically a stone's throw away from here. But games on Friday night and Saturday night. What's the biggest thing you're expecting from the team, and what's maybe one thing that you really want to focus on this weekend?
Consistency, not have that drop off. I want to come out hard again. Last weekend, the Friday night game, we got 2 goals early, and we never released our stranglehold on the game. I think it's important that we do that again and not allow them to get a foothold into their ability to impose their will on the game plan. We want to get out there. Again, we're banged up. Another weekend, this past weekend, we lost 2 more players. We got 2, lose 2. So some guys are going to have to step up, but we've had an outstanding week of practice. So we're confident going in, but again, it's the consistency of, the last weekend is over and we got to do it all over again.
How do you then try to prepare yourself to keep consistent? Because, last weekend on the Saturday and home, it looked like it was a one-decided game, and I don't even think it even deserved to go into overtime the way the Brahmas played on Saturday. How do you continue that performance, and what do you have to tell the team to kind of say, okay, it's in the past, moving on, let's do it again?
Accountability, just no let-ups, and it starts in practice, and it starts on and off the ice during the week. I've stressed to the guys it's got to come from not just myself as well. So some of the leaders in the team got to step up, and we're seeing that more and more as the season progresses. A lot of new faces. This was basically a brand new franchise this year coming in from last year's WSHL team. There's only 2 returning players. So early on, there's a lot of guys that had to, build some comfort with one another, and now I think they're getting to the point where they can rely and depend on one another and trust one another. Not off the ice, obviously that was happened fairly quickly, but on the ice and get a comfort zone as to, all right, this guy's going to take care of this, and he's physical, he'll finish that check, and so on and so forth. And we've been doing drills and such that, basically it's repetition, so that we know what to expect out of one another. As I preach to my guys, so that we can be proactive out there and allow the other team to be reactive, and we'll get that extra step on them, and hopefully that bears fruit for us.
Well, new team, no problem. It's a hard week of practice for this Junior Brahmas team. Dallas Junior Stars this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, 7:30 start both times. But go to the road. It's only in Euless, Texas, so basically right next door. It's almost treated as a home game, if you will. But that's it for this part of the Coach Show. We're going to come back with our Players Spotlight after this.
For gourmet pizza and Italian cuisine, call Zaroma's Bar and Grill. Zaroma's only uses the freshest ingredients. Located inside the NYTEX Sports Center, Zaroma is your one-stop shop for food, friends, and Lone Star Brahmas watching parties. Visit www.zaroma.net for menu, directions, and delivery information.
Hello, welcome back to the Coach Show. I'm Nick Merrick, now joined alongside goaltender Quentin Reynolds of the Junior Brahmas. Quentin, how are you doing today?
Good.
Obviously, have to be pleased. The team picked up 2 victories last weekend against Dallas Junior Stars, playing them again this weekend. And the first shutout of the Junior Brahmas season, tipped your cap. It's in your record book. So talk me through that Friday night shutout.
I went in prepared. We needed that win. We needed those points, and I stopped everything that came to me, but at the end of the day, it was a team effort, and my defense did a really good job letting me see the pucks, keeping that to the outside, and if they were, if they made a mistake, then I was there to bail them out. But that's what a team is for. So at the end of the day, it was the team, really.
You brought up 2 points there. First, let me talk about the fact that it was the team play. 2-0 victory. Both goals in that first period.
Yep.
You didn't let up anything, not only all game, but when the team had the lead, you made sure it stayed that way.
Yeah.
What's it like from a goaltender's aspect? All right, the offense, defense just did its job. Now it's my turn.
Yeah, what they say, a 2-goal lead is the worst lead in hockey, because if they get a goal, then they're right back in the game. But I made sure to stay focused, mentally aware the whole game, and luckily we came out on top with a 2-0 victory. So
how do you feel the team's kind of shaped up in front of you? Obviously the defense had arguably its best weekend of the season so far. No problems really with the forwards. A little bit here and there, but it's always just basic stuff. Talk about how the team kind of built around you.
It just comes down to practice. We're really working hard. We're focusing on keeping each other accountable, and it shows in games. It really does, because we started playing like a team, and honestly, the first period of that first game was the best period I've seen us play all year. So,
does that give you any confidence then going forward?
It does.
Hey, finally, maybe we're peaking.
Yep, it does. If this team can really come together and move forward, we'll go places. We'll go pretty far in the season. So
Is there a problem really when you look at the schedule and you see, okay, I know Dallas is right next door, I know they're a big rival, but you're playing 5 straight games against the same team. Does that have any effect at all on the team's preparation?
no, I don't think so. I think we come into it the same way we come into every game. It's just a new game, and anything can happen. So we got to be prepared for that.
And you mentioned this team could be doing some big things. I mean, the Southern Showcase coming up here in about a week and a
Yep.
half. Has the team even thought about that at all? Or is it just like, hey, it's just going to be a mess of games and we're hosting it?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't heard any talk about it in the locker room, so we're just taking it one day at a time. Build off this weekend going into that showcase. That's all we can ask for.
And now diving back to some of your past in hockey, you're from Aurora, Colorado. What was it like being raised in that kind of hockey scene?
It was good. I mean, my dad taught me goaltending. He played goalie growing up too, so he basically taught me everything I know. But the hockey scene in Colorado is big. It's growing, and honestly, I grew up playing against really good guys, and that's what's helped me move forward.
Interesting. Talk to me about your your dad's relationship with you in hockey. Where'd that kind of spur from? How young were you when that started?
I started skating when I was about 4, but I played like a season as a defender, but I decided to strap on the pads, take after my old man. So
Where'd he actually play? Was that something you kind of aspired to push to be a little better than your dad? Because kids always love to outbeat their
yeah.
parents.
I mean, he played CU, like CU's club team, but he transferred to DU and walked on to their Division I team. But they changed up the eligibility rules, and if you switch schools, you have to take a year off, and by that time it was too old. So he just ended up going to DU and graduating.
Is that a little maybe a fun father-son rivalry going on there where you're like, hey, Dad, love that you did this big, but you know what? I'm going to try to one-up you in a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd definitely say so.
Kind of keeps you pushing towards your ultimate goal, too, of
it
going
does.
on and playing college hockey.
It does.
Now, kind of, going back, compared to some players, I mean, you just had to come down from Colorado, kind of getting emerged now in the NA3 season this year. How big of a change is that going from Colorado to Texas?
It's not that big of a change, actually. Just the weather. It's so hot down here, and you got to stay hydrated. Walking outside, you'll start sweating. But I mean, I lived down here 3 years ago. I played for the Ice Jets, so I'm used to it. And I enjoy it down here.
And that was the Ice Jets team in the Western States Hockey League?
No, the U16 AAA team.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then obviously came into the scene throughout your high school years too. We talked to you about just some phenomenal numbers you put up, and what was it like competing with your high school?
It was good. It was a good atmosphere. Like the fans were great. The kids were great. We all enjoyed it, and it was a great season.
Would you say that was kind of your big push forward to being recognized at a higher level?
Yeah, I'd say definitely, because I really showed myself that I can control a game if I need to, and that's what I did throughout the season. I feel like.
We certainly controlled some of the games this season as well. The Shutout Big Friday. I'll do a quick hits segment here. Obviously Halloween right around the corner. What's the wackiest Halloween costume you've ever worn?
That's a hard one. I was Jigsaw from the Saw movies, so that was the wackiest one I've ever worn. But I usually don't go all out on Halloween. So,
what's the biggest difference between maybe the crazy thing you've seen here in Texas?
I don't know. I honestly can't answer that one.
Nothing really stands out.
No.
How about best memory so far with this Brahmas team?
The best memory I had was when I got traded from Twin City and it came down here. It was the first day, everyone was nice. They like accepted me, and I really appreciate that out of them, because I know it's hard getting traded to another team, but they made it easy for me. So
So maybe we have a little camaraderie there. I know the junior Brahmas definitely happy to see him. The fans, obviously, as well.
Yep.
Quentin Reynolds here with us on the Player Spotlight. That'll do it for our show. For head coach Al Rooney and Quentin Reynolds, I'm Nick Merrick. We'll see you on the ice in Dallas this weekend.